Hi, I'm Alana.
And I'm Alana, and we're the A-Team, and we're back! Welcome to the 2021 school year. Although it's not how we anticipated, school has started.
Today we sat down and interviewed Mr. Blake about our upcoming school year.
Hi, I'm Alana Akabisi. I'm a junior here at RFA, and welcome to the Nightly News.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning.
It has been a long time since we had the opportunity to be in person. If you could pick one word or phrase that could best describe the past 6 months, what would that be?
Oh, that's a really good question. And one word or phrase. So you gave me an out. I think if I had to, I'll pick 2 words. The first being chaotic. I think the past 6 months have been chaotic for everybody, whether you're an adult or a student, or I hate to use the word child because you're young adults, but there's obviously younger students. My children are younger, so it's been chaotic in just the sense that we're all going through something that no one's ever done before. So a lot of the concerns or problems or questions that people have, there aren't even answers for. I don't have answers for some of these things. People that are much more intelligent than myself and in much more important positions don't have answers for a lot of our questions. And so that concern of trying to navigate your way through life without having an understanding of where you're going or what it is that you should be concerned about is chaotic. But in the same sense, my second word is optimism, or optimistic, that I think if we try to stay positive and look at what we're dealing with in the world right now, we all have an opportunity to change the world in a way that we never thought we'd have an opportunity to. And so I try to help our teaching staff and our team here in Rome City School District understand that while this is challenging and scary in a lot of fronts, it also brings an opportunity for all of us to do something with education that we never thought we'd have the opportunity to do, which is reinvent how you all learn and what really is meaningful education. So I think we've got more people looking at it from a positive point of view right now, knowing that we want to get back to some sense of normalcy, but certainly it's been chaotic. But myself, I've been as optimistic as I possibly can be.
After the 6 weeks, what are the deciding factors that can help us return back to school?
Wonderful question here. I would say the largest deciding factor is some of the requirements that the state is placing on schools in order to be able, that are restrictive. I won't call it prohibitive, but they're restrictive to having people back in the building. And the number one issue being is this hybrid model. You see some folks going in where kids are in school 2 days a week and they're home 3 days a week, and whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, or Tuesday, Friday, those types of schedules are back to the word chaotic. It's chaotic for you as students, it's chaotic for teachers, it's chaotic for families. So the requirements to bring people into school need to allow for students to be able to attend 5 days a week. And some of the things that are important for that are the social distancing requirements that we see being placed on schools. Right now we're told you have to be 6 feet apart in a classroom with a mask on at all times. If that kind of restriction requirement is eased a little bit, and let's say it doesn't have to be 6 feet, it can be 4.5, 5 feet, however many kids need to fit in there, understanding that 100% of students are not going to return to school simply out of personal preference. They want to stay home to be safer or feel safer. So really you're talking about class sizes that need to accommodate 16 to 18 kids most likely, and right now we can max out around 12 to 14. I am hopeful that we'll see some of those easings. We already have this past week. They've completely changed their definitions of what it is required to clean bathrooms throughout the course of a day while schools are in session, and they've eased those restrictions quite a bit. So I do think you're going to see the government ease some of those requirements if we don't see massive outbreaks as schools start to reopen.
Hi, I'm Alana Fragapane. I'm also a junior here at RFA.
Hi, Alana. Good to see you again.
See you too.
In regards to transportation following social distancing guidelines, what differences will we also see in the school?
I think the biggest difference that you'll see in school that I think people are mostly used to by now is the mask wearing. I think that most people in society have gotten used to having to wear a mask everywhere they go. In fact, I think a lot of people are starting to forget to wear masks because more things are getting back to feeling normal when you go out and you go places. But mask wearing is certainly one. You're going to see a lot of new signage around buildings, the constant reminders to wash hands, do your best to keep 6 feet apart, wear your mask. Those are the big changes, I think, when kids return to school. Obviously, the classroom is going to look different with the desks spread more out. Secondary schools are a little bit, when you've come into your classrooms in high school, for the most part, desks are in rows and they're already organized that way. But elementary students, if you can think back a few years ago when you're in elementary school, you're probably sitting in groups or at tables, and some of those things are probably going to be a thing of the past for right now, at least until some of the concerns related to the spreading of virus are eased. But temperature checks, there's still a lot of question about whether or not they're going to be mandatory, but obviously temperature screenings when you walk in the building, you'll notice a difference there. We'll have kiosks at the doors for you just to have your wrist temperature scanned, and if the temperatures are a little bit high, you'll have to take a handheld temperature by the nurse. So different things like that probably are something that most teenagers are used to. If you've been out and about in society, younger children maybe not so much, but general things that I think society are used to at this point in time.
Do you think we will go back to our normal school routine relevant to social distancing guidelines?
I do think we will be back to a normal school routine in some way, shape, or form. How that looks, the routine might look differently, meaning wearing masks at all times in classes, wearing masks in the hallways. How the big thing that I don't think anyone's talked about or figured out is lunchtimes in cafeterias, right? So you go out to a restaurant right now, you're able to take your mask off if you're sitting with people from your same household. That's impossible to say in a school. And lunch or mealtime is a giant part of socialization of schooling, in that it gives kids a chance to take a break, socialize with their friends, talk. How that all is going to look, I think, is very different right now, and no one's really figured that part of it out, to be honest with you. But I do think that we will be back to some form of a normal routine for those that want to attend in person, and that would be your traditional schedule, 5 days a week, moving through the hallways, changing your classes, but we're going to be wearing masks.
Personally, do you think there will be a fall sports season?
I do personally believe that there will be a fall sports season. I don't have any objection to trying to get that off the ground. As you know, the governor made the announcement that schools can start that on September 21st. The New York State Public High School Athletic Association announced yesterday that they're moving back the start of the winter season by a few weeks so that the fall season can have a little bit longer time. I do think that you'll see the low-risk sports go out there and compete very quickly. They did waive the guidelines of the practice time, so technically speaking, you can start the season on the 21st of September, and you can start competing on the 21st of September, which is anything, that's all brand new. Don't know how safe it is to start your season and maybe compete the next day, because we don't know how many athletes or student athletes have been training on their own, and coaches aren't able to connect with them right now in this time frame to help them prepare. So I am a little concerned about injury in the sense that you see it in professional sports right now, that the athletes didn't have enough time to prepare for the rigor of the shortened competitive season. But I do think that there will be a way to have fall sports in some way, shape, or form.
Keeping with the sports theme, our new turf looks amazing. I'm sure many athletes can't wait to use it.
It does look amazing. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing the track go in as well. And the whole complex actually is brand new. If you can remember back to the way it used to look, but we moved where all the jumping pits are for the track sports, so that the field is the field and the track area has its own separate kind of location. And cross our fingers that we'll be able to get some athletes out there. Unfortunately, it won't be football. I can tell you that football won't have the first crack at the turf, but it's likely going to be soccer, field hockey, and we want to have kids out there using it just as badly as the kids want to get out there and use it.
Thank you, Mr. Blake, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us.
You're very welcome, ladies, anytime. It's a pleasure always.
Thank you, Mr. Blake, for that interview. Hopefully we'll have more information on the upcoming sports season.
Remember, RFA, take charge and show some RFA pride.
We're all in this together.